It's another night and another Rudy Gobert masterclass. There's all sorts of reasons that are going to stop Gobert from being the Defensive Player of the Year frontrunner, but none of them relate to what he's doing on the court. And last night's beatdown of Bam Adebayo and the Miami Heat was a perfect example of what he's been doing all season long. The Heat play hard, they're well coached, and they have a strong front court, but they got monstered by Gobert in this game, and that's become a regular occurrence if you're watching Minnesota closely this season. With Gobert, it's hitting the fundamentals of defense over and over again that make him so dominant. If his teammate gets blown by, he's a wall of limbs in the way, which would usually mean an easy dump-off bucket, but he rotates back down and walls up that attempt as well. That's kind of the tip of the iceberg for Gobert's defense. The ability to junk up pick and roll offensive possessions, the ability to always make this rim rotation, to step into a spot where there's no shot, but there's also no chance to lob it behind him, and more often than not, it leads to sloppy, rush shots that simply just don't go in. I think it's very easy to overlook, but most defenders don't force pretty elite downhill scorers from here with a seemingly open scoring lane to here with their back to the basket and only a much worse shot to settle with. Blowing up drives is absolutely the bedrock of Gobert's game and hugely influential on team defense as a whole. Sometimes it will bail out a teammate making an error, like DiVincenzo does here when he tries to shoot this gap, which is usually a fatal gamble, but because Gobert is always sitting in perfect help position and able to slide down and destroy layups, Minnesota is often able to be more aggressive with their gambles when he's on the floor. Especially for a chance taker on defense like DiVincenzo, having Gobert sitting in behind him allows him to take those chances, shoot those gaps, and risk those drives because Gobert is always on cleanup duty on the backside. Usually that's a bad process to take for a defender, but Gobert makes it a feature in Minnesota's defense more than a flaw. Sliding over with perfect timing to disrupt drives, blow up lobs, or just knock downhill scorers off their rhythm is what Gobert has done better than anybody in the NBA for a decade now, but I don't think he always gets the credit for how much of it he can do within single offensive possessions. Like when he's in that drop coverage kill spot, not only do guards just straight up not want to shoot at all around him, but he's very capable of making long rotations out of it, containing off the bounce, and then getting up impossible contests to make shots over. When a player commands the entire floor and orchestrates exactly what he wants the offense to do, that's when you get the defensive hardware that Gobert has in his trophy case. This possession is the thing that Gobert does so frequently, it's almost easy to underappreciate. Again, he's covering for a blow-by with a rotation off the corner, completely shutting off the rim attempt, and now it's great positioning from McDaniels here to hedge between these two perimeter players and allow Gobert more time to make that long rotation back to Bam, but to get there, prevent the shot, and contain the drive and still get that smothering contest up is seriously elite stuff defensively. I keep saying it, but that kind of thing isn't going to be noticed as much because it's not resulting in a block or in a highlight play. Again, this is another perfect example of how smart and how impactful Gobert is. The first thing is him calling this pre-switch with Naz Reid so he can stay closer to the rim and help on this drive, then again get back to the dump-off pass so he prevents multiple rim attempts there, then he has to rotate back off the corner to help on another, and he's going to have to make one last strain to the corner, and it's not a perfect closeout, but all that work forced Miami into the shot they least wanted on that possession. A half-contested corner three from a low-volume shooter. So Gobert's an impeccable rotation defender, but he's also wrecking his direct matchups as well right now, and we saw that again tonight against Miami. On switches, he's always been better than advertised. He's here, negating another drive on Hero, and then when he fully commits to the switch out onto him, he eats up his drive and forces a turnover. He does that stuff on the regular as well. Players score just 0.78 points per 100 against Gobert in isolation, which is an elite number for a big man. Now look, there's going to be times where he's told to switch up on a ball screen, where he's going to need one of his teammates to make a smart rotation to cover him, but that's just part and parcel of team defense, and in the end, Minnesota's defense usually funnels back to Gobert making a play, like he does here, sticking with Hero and forcing a tough out-of-rhythm shot. And of course, when he's going against a team like Miami, there's going to be an individual job to do, this time on Bam Adebayo, and in 2 games this week, he's just crushed him. Those ISO possessions in the mid-post that Bam has made a living on simply do not work against Gobert. He's too long, too smart, and maybe surprisingly, too quick on his feet going side to side in small spaces, the kind of ones that Bam likes to operate in. Over the past 2 games this week, Gobert has kept Adebayo to 5 for 18 shooting from the field when he's the closest defender, which is kind of just par for the course. Apart from Nikola Jokic frying him like he does with everyone, Gobert has won most of his individual battles this season. As of today, of the 40 or so players who have contested at least 450 shots, which is around the mark for most starting big men, Gobert's 42.4% field goal percentage allowed is the best of the bunch. That's the Gobert we're seeing this season. A completely dominant defender, just like he was 2 seasons ago when he grabbed his 4th Defensive Player of the Year title, and right now he is driving Minnesota's defense and covering way more holes even than he did 2 seasons ago. Obviously, there's a ton of water to go under the bridge still in this regular season. A lot can go right or a lot can go wrong from Gobert from now until the season ends. And then of course there's that alien in San Antonio who will be looking to sweep up the defensive awards at the end of the season. But you'd be very hard pressed to find a player having a better defensive campaign than Rudy Gobert is right now. If you want more breakdowns like this one, subscribe to the channel, drop a like or a comment, and help the channel grow. Thanks again for watching.